This is part 76 of my series on my Engage Model Railway project. Previous parts covered the project from its inception through the creation of the baseboard, selection and laying of track, building of scenic items, obtaining rolling stock, etc. The project is ongoing. This part basically just deals with what I got done this week. Some Southern Railways wagons from eBay that came, and a Farish Scenecraft Oakworth station building that came, and which I installed to replace the Kestrel station building on Scraptoft Station. There were other things in process this week that didn't get successfully completed. Hopefully those will get finished and feature in future videos. Here are the 4 SR wagons that I picked up. These showed up as a lot on eBay UK at a reasonable price, and I figured I might as well get them since I didn't have very many Southern wagons and previously had no Southern horse box. That's a horse box at the bottom left. The brake van is perhaps more BR Southern region than proper Southern Railways. The other thing that came was this Graphar Oakworth station building, also bought on eBay UK. This wasn't cheap, in fact it was really downright expensive. But this is perhaps the nicest vintage station model ever made, and I've been looking to pick one of these up for a long time. This is the track side of the building, and this is the side away from the tracks. This was the first time I'd seen one of these for sale since I'd been looking, so even though it was a bit pricey, especially with the shipping to me in Canada, I wasn't going to let it slip away. It's still sitting in the bottom of its plastic clamshell packaging here. This is the side away from the tracks again. This came to me in its original packaging, sold as new. This is the station side again. It's a resin model, very nicely detailed, even including a clock and a post box in the wall there. Here's a picture of the real Oakworth station on which the Graphar item is modelled. It seems it's not possible to photograph this station from the far side of the tracks, so all pictures are at a rather oblique angle. Here's another picture from the other angle showing the clock and the post box. I note that there are several billboards on the walls, and I may well add some to my station. Back to the Southern wagons. I put them on the tracks behind the Farish Southern C-Class in black livery. Like most recent Farish releases, this is a very pretty little model with a lot of detail, but not much of a puller, being extremely light and with no traction tyres. I did add Bullfrog Snot liquid traction tyre product to 2 of the driving wheels on this. This made the engine pull better, but made its electrical contact less dependable, so it's now difficult to run it at slow speed without it getting stuck. Its extreme lack of weight exacerbates both traction and electrical contact problems. But at least it can now get a small train up the gradients on my layout. This is Scraptoft Station as I had it on my layout at this point, but of course removed from the layout and put on the bench now. Basically it's made from the Kestrel Country Station kit with various details added. I printed the station signs on my PC. I wasn't terribly unhappy with the Kestrel building, but it was clearly the least detailed station building on my layout and nowhere near as nice as the Oakworth station model, so now I intended to replace it. I had considered building a completely new platform for the revised station, but I decided to see if I could keep the existing platform and details and just somehow fit in the new building. Here's the Kestrel building removed from the platform. It's designed specifically to fit onto this type of platform, the front of the building on the platform and the back at ground level. And of course it has its own attached platform canopy. The station building is fairly similar in size, but is all designed to sit at the same level, so the rear of the building was going to need some additional support for it to fit with my Scraptoft station. In general, the fit appeared quite good, with the station building sitting quite nicely between the 2 lamps on the platform. But to fit it to the platform, which is rather narrow, over half of the building needed to hang off the back. Here I'm just testing the fit, using a couple of spare parts from my Kato turntable to prop up the back of the building. It all looks essentially good, so long as I can do something reasonably sensible with respect to the back of the building. I had a bunch of these narrow Farish platform pieces which I'd picked up used from tiny railroads in Delhi, Ontario, figuring they might come in useful for something, and I thought these might work for the back of the station building. Like a lot of things on my layout, the arrangement is perhaps a bit odd, but the height of the graphite platform pieces was almost exactly the same as the height of the existing Kestrel platform, so that worked well. And the graphite pieces provided a way to support the back of the Oakworth building and to provide a way that it could be accessed via the graphite ramps. I figured that this arrangement could well work okay, so I decided to try it on the layout rather than getting into building special platform pieces, which could have been done, for example, from Metcalfe platform kits. It can be a bit difficult to get everything to sit down properly without gaps, but I thought things looked close enough to proceed. And here it is back in place on the layout. The back piece is a bit awkward, overlapping the road slightly, but it doesn't really reduce the available road width too much. I did have to move the furniture truck over a bit and move the little green car at the other end. But basically I don't think the arrangement looks too unreasonable. And it's certainly a much more detailed and attractive station building. All it needs now is perhaps a couple of boards with signs, and I have some ready printed examples. Here's a view showing the road at the back with the railway cottages on the other side, built from the Metcalfe Workers' Cottages kit. I don't think this is too unbelievable an arrangement, and I do like all the little details on the Oakworth building. Here's the road and the station from the other end. The track for this station is, rather unfortunately, right on the very edge of the layout board. Everything is rather crowded together as a result of trying to get a lot of features into limited space. Just on the other side of the raised track behind the cottages is the yard with its turntable. The green car isn't really positioned, it's just where I put it when I moved it out of the way. Here's my little recently acquired LMS cattle train pulled into the station, since it happened to be still on the tracks as I was doing this installation. And more appropriately, perhaps, here's a little LMS local passenger train in the station. The luggage van is a metal kit-built item in a rather bright red. The coach is an old Graphar LMS Suburban composite period. Engine is a slightly suspect Graphar general-purpose tank engine in LMS Crimson, although I'm not sure the LMS really used Crimson livery for small tank engines, did they? So anyway, here is my revised Scraptoft Station with a little passenger train about sent off by the porter. So now let's see a little running video featuring these new items on the layout. Seem to be struggling with some technical problems today, although the noises there are just because I'm moving the camera. So here's the little Oakworth station building now installed on my Scraptoft Station. If I finish fiddling with the camera, the noises should stop. It's a very nice little building, that, again, I must say. I should put some signs, like a timetable and an advertising sign or whatever on it as well. Here comes the little train with that Farish general-purpose tank engine. Strange things those were. They sold them in virtually any livery, Southern, Great Western. Don't really quite know what they were modelled on. They just labelled them as general-purpose tank engine. Anyway, there's a little train pulling out from the revised Scraptoft Station. I've been waiting to get one of those Oakworth station buildings. I've been trying for quite a while to get one, so I'm quite pleased to have that installed now. And the rest of it's just going to be a little bit of running video of this southern train. As you'll see, it's very hard to get this Farish C-class engine to run evenly. It's just such a light engine, it doesn't sit down well on the rails. I put some bullfrog snot on the on one pair of the driving wheels. That's given it greater ability to climb up the incline. You'll see it gets up the incline okay here now, though it's only got a very light little train behind it. But the that takes away two of the wheels from those electrical pickups, and then the thing is so light anyway, it's not pressing down on the track and contacting well. So it's you can see it's kind of has a tendency to just run rather jerkily, and indeed, if you're not careful and you're trying to run it slowly, just to stop entirely. And you give it a little poke, it'll start again, but obviously that's not very helpful. It's a pity because it's a very pretty little engine. I think there's a real train going by outside, so that's if there's a bit of rumbling in addition to everything else that may be coming from that, because I can feel it shaking the floor. And we go down past the Graham Farish coaling tower and ash plant and down through Colville Station, going down through the middle there. Very nicely detailed engine, even the cab, is nicely detailed and whatever in this C-Class. It's just, it's all plastic and everything, so it's extremely light. It couldn't pull anything up the incline until I put the bullfrog snot on it, and now I've got the bullfrog snot on it, it pulls better, but it's not a great puller, and it doesn't have very good pickup now. Oh well, there you go.